All right, party people, I'm going to try and keep this close, too, because sometimes, you know, when I walk away, my voice, it's hard to hear me on the video. But I'm going to try and keep this close, fairly close to me, I guess. Maybe here. I'll just leave it there, and we'll get started. All right, irregular present tense verbs. So let's say about the next 15 minutes, make sure we've got it and break it down for you so that you can watch this whenever you need to, and if you ever forget or confused. Here's how I would break it down for us. The first thing, obviously, we have to know is before we even get started with our irregular present tense verbs, we got to make sure we know what the endings for regular verbs are in the present tense. Okay? I assume we all know this, yes? Awesome. So there's AR verbs. Here are ER and IR verbs. Why do I have ER and IR verbs in the same color next to one another?
They end in the same letters.
Right. They have the exact same endings except when? Except the we form. Totally awesome. Okay. If you don't know this, soon these things will be posted up too after Labor Day. I have more things posted and hanging on the walls. But there they are, the endings. You take off the AR and you add one of the new endings. We all know this basic concept, yes? And, of course, for ER-IR, it's almost identical. And notice what subject am I not including here because I'm not concerned for us knowing it right now. Vosotros. Okay. I can use vosotros. I used it when I first learned Spanish because I lived in Spain, so I use vosotros. But for us, I'm not really concerned about it right now. Okay. Here's what it is, real fast. Ice, ice, ice. The key thing, of course, is remembering the accent. So that's regular, all right? So I assume most of us can do that. We've proven it so far in our stories, for the most part, doing a great job conjugating, you know, our verbs in regular present tense. So that's that. We're going to focus, of course, today, however, on the irregular ones. And I break them down into 3 groups. Those 3 groups are group 1. What does that triangle stand for? Change. So stem changers, that's the first kind of group, which we've already talked about because we know that there are 3 kinds. O to UE, E to IE, and E to I. And what was my little tip? Do you remember what my tip was? If you got, I mean, obviously you can tell if a verb is an O to UE stem changer because there's an O in it. You know, here's the stem, here's the ending. So obviously there's an O in the stem, it's an O to UE. But do you remember what I said my tip was to determine whether it's an E to I or an E to IE? If it ends in IR, okay? This is not 100% correct. Let me say that again. Not 100% accurate. There are IR verbs that are E to I stem changers, okay, which I recommend and we'll look at specifically that you study, make sure you know. But generally speaking, if it's an IR verb and you know it's a stem changer, it's probably E to I. Okay, it's just a tip to help you out fast. Awesome. So that's the first group we need to know. The second group we need to know, excuse me, I call irregular yo. What does this mean if it's an irregular yo? I'm sorry, say that again.
Is it change the IGO?
Ooh, so close. But that's not 100% it. It depends. This means the verb is only irregular in what subject? The yo form. Okay? It is only irregular in the yo form. And if you look on there, they give a list of several of them. They're down here at the bottom. Okay? You see those ones at the bottom there? Hacer, poner, salir, suponer, traer, ver. The only place where they're irregular is the yo form. Okay? We'll just write hacer as an example. That's our here. Our example, hacer. Hago, that's the irregular part, but everything else is this. It's normal. I should use a different color. HAC. Yes, there's nothing abnormal, etc. about this. They're only irregular in the yo form.
Why?
Why what?
Why is it Geo instead of AHA?
Great question. Do you know why?
This one.
Yeah, well, there's a debate on this. But it has to do, I should have chewed on this ice cube right before I tried to answer your question. Right, I'm melting it now. I just swallowed half an ice cube, so it's really cold right here in my throat at the moment. Woo! Okay, enough. There's a debate linguistically over why this is, but a lot of people argue it has to do with irregularities from, I can't remember, acere or something. It was like the Latin, because Spanish is a derivative of Latin, but because it got mixed with like the Germanic Vandal tribes or whatever, so they debate about when this happened, and some don't even agree, but it has to do. There's a lot of the irregular words. That's the reason why. Certain people called it. It's the difference between like here, everybody just calls soda Coke, even though it's really well, technically it's a carbonated beverage, but nobody says that. It's just Coke. Whether you're having Pepsi or whatever, just give me Coke. But you know, whatever, is Pepsi okay? Fine. You know, just any kind of soda is Coke. It's that kind of thing. And so some places that's just what they say, and one predominating. Does that make sense? And so G is just what some people said, and that's the one that tends to take the, as opposed to ACO. You know, there's debate on that. So there's no definitive answer right now. Cool. But AGO, we add the T. Because a lot of, remember too, back in the day, most people weren't literate. Literacy didn't really show up until about the 16th century, 16th to 17th century, but people have been talking for, you know, way longer than that. And so even if you heard it one way, but then you tried to spell it the way you spelled it, you're like, that doesn't look right nowadays. Like I spelled tough, T-U-F-F. You know, that makes sense. And so that's how we spell it, you know, as opposed to T-O-U-G-H, that kind of thing. Cool. So, boom, irregular yos. Now, I'm going to go over 15 minutes. But I like that. That's a good question. The third is what I call crazy mofo. It's a crazy mofo. Here's what crazy mofo means. Okay? The verb is either irregular in every single freaking subject, like ear, or ser. You know, if we follow the rules for ear, it should be O, E-S. It should just be the endings, right? You take off the ending and you add a new ending. But that's not how we conjugate ear. Instead, it's voy, vas, va, etc. Every single subject, it's irregular, so that's a crazy mofo. Or it falls into the category where it's in one or more categories. A perfect example of that is tener or venir. In tener, they have in there listed as yours, but they don't organize it the way I do. Okay? So this is where I and the book are differing, we're diverging in the way we organize the information. I call tener a crazy mofo because what's the yo form of tener? Which makes it what kind of a verb? An irregular what, though?
Yo.
Yo. Makes it irregular yo. But then what's the to form? Tienes, which makes it a stem changer. So it's both an irregular yo and a stem changer? No. Once you start trying to play both sides, you're a crazy mofo. Okay? This is important because I will have questions on tests where I'll give you a list of verbs and I will say, organize these irregular verbs, please. All right? So if I say, organize these irregular verbs in the present tense, then right away you'd say, all right, according to Allegra, there are 3 types of irregulars in the present tense. Stem changer, irregular yos, crazy mofos. What verbs go in what category? And when you get to the verb like tener, you're going to say, oh, it's an irregular yo. Oh, wait, no, it's also stem changer. Oh, that's right. Crazy mofo. That's where it goes. Okay? I am telling you this. I know I have those kinds of questions on tests. Organize these irregular verbs, please. So, a key way for you to study is to organize your irregulars. 2 more things and then we're finished. If you look at page 4 and 5, and you look carefully at them, you will see they list a whole bunch, okay? A whole bunch of verbs in here. They don't necessarily tell you what they mean, but you look under the stem changes. They say other E to IE verbs. Boom, 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 boom. They give you a whole bunch. Other O to UE verbs. Boom, 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 boom. They give you a whole bunch. Okay. Hey, look carefully. Remember my tip? What do you notice about the E to I changes? Look at all those infinitives. What do you notice about them all? They all end in what two letters? IR. What was my tip? If you're not sure if it's an E to I stem changer, just check to see. If it's an IR verb, chances are it's an E to I stem changer. Okay? All of these verbs on this page would be fair game on a test. I would give you a list, say organize them. They're all fair game because they're all right here on page 4 and 5. Okay? So between now and let's say, I don't know, the end of September, it's probably a good idea for you to check these with the ones I have on the list in the wiki. Okay? And make sure you know the ones on the list of the wiki, because those I know are on the test. Those are the ones that I've used. So you can figure out out of all these, which verbs should I know what they mean? Which verbs should I try and use? It's the ones on the list in the wiki. Does that make sense?
And we just look them up online.
If you don't know what they mean, look them up online. Yeah, that's fine. I have no problems with that. But I know the ones that I have, because I pulled out of this, because there's a lot there, so I don't have every single one. I pulled a bunch, but not all of them. The ones I have on the wiki, on the list on the wiki, those are the ones that you are responsible for knowing their meaning. You got to know how to conjugate them. You got to know what kind of irregular they are. Does that make sense? Cool. Really quickly. According to Allegro, what kind of, the very last one on page 5, the bottom, what kind of irregular is the verb oir? According to me, what kind of irregular? Stem changer, here we go, crazy mofo. Crazy mofo. Why? Irregular yo and stem changer. We got that like I to Y action. So, okay? Does that make sense?
This says that the stem changing is using EP.
That's only for Hugar though. That's the only verb that's like that, so therefore I kind of just treat it like Pluto. It's not really a planet. Kind of thing. Did you know that they made Pluto no longer a planet? Yeah. Right.
So what is it? I didn't.
Yeah, it's just like a celestial body. I don't know what they call it. Okay. Sweet. Last thing. What is when I say irregular? What does it mean? When I say a verb is irregular, what am I saying? We need to work on a common definition. So when I say it, we're all thinking the same thing.
It's not normal.
Not normal, pretty close. Not regular, pretty obvious. Cool. All right, well then let's do this. I agree. An irregular verb means does not follow the rules of conjugation. That's what irregular means. A verb is irregular if it does not follow the rules of conjugation. Can I get an amen? I guess not. Okay. Now, the only question, of course, left then is, well, what are the rules of conjugation? We're done when you give it to me. What are the rules of conjugation? Oh, the chart.
If it
Remove the
AR,
sticker.
ER, IR verbs end in O, if it's neo form.
Irregular.
AR in
When you like remove the sticker and replace the
ice on.
Let's make it simple. It's level 2, so let's just give 2 quick steps. The rules of conjugation are take off the ending. The ending of what?
The word.
The infinitive. Take off the ending of the infinitive. How many kinds of infinitives are there?
3.
What are they?
AR,
AR, IR. Take off the ending and add a new ending, which of course, in case you've forgotten, are these. Okay? That's it. That's how you conjugate a verb. If I do anything different than that, the verb is irregular. So, why is a stem changer irregular? Right, because I changed the stem. Do the rules of conjugation say change the stem of a verb? No, they do not. They just say take off the ending on a new end. So if I'm changing the stem, I'm not following the rules. I'm a bad boy. I'm a rebel. I get all the girls, but I'm still branded as that bad kid. You are irregular, verb. Okay? Who's the most popular? You ever notice the most commonly used verbs?
ER.
What are they? The most commonly used verbs in the English language, the most commonly used verbs in Spanish language. Guess what kind of verbs they are?
Action.
Good guess.
Irregular.
They're irregular. Everybody likes to hang out with the rebels, the kids who break the rules, the iconoclasts. It's just how it is. In linguistics and in life, it's the same thing. So, quick review. Stem changers, the three groups we should know. We can figure it out. Irregular yo, only irregular in the yo form. Totally regular for the rest. Just take off the ending out of the new end. Crazy mofos, ser and ear, always. Could argue with star too. But then other verbs as well, if you tener, veneer, oer, I consider them crazy mofos as well because they're trying to be two things. Pick one, man. Be good. Pick one thing, pick a passion, live it, love it, learn it. You don't try and be everything to everybody. Right, that's my job. Hence, irregular means does not follow the rules of conjugation. And what are the rules of conjugation? Take off the ending and add a new ending.